Hello everyone, I'm Alice. Welcome to my channel Easy English with Alice. Happy to see everyone. This video is going to be about main tips for you to pass SAT test with the score you need. I have been preparing students to SAT exam for 2 years. Obviously, I took it a few times with the minimum score of 1500. During the time, I have collected the most beneficial tips for everyone who take SAT soon. I'm always telling you, make sure you don't have complexities with English basics first. You have to fill all of the gaps with grammatical rules, with the text understanding, with spelling, and only after practicing SAT tests. You know, every SAT section has its own time limit, so you need to work on the time pressure precisely. Know what to expect on the SAT test. You need to know the types of questions to encounter on the SAT. There are 52 reading questions, which takes 65 minutes, 44 writing and language questions, which takes 35 minutes, 58 math questions, which takes 80 minutes, and one essay, which is optional and takes 50 minutes. Next, advice from myself which concerns any exam. Double check your answers. It concerns any section of SAT. Let it be math writing section. There is only one correct answer for each question, and you should be able to eliminate all of the others. This means that your number one strategy on the test is process of elimination. If you are struggling with a question, try to find reasons to rule out most of the answers rather than reasons why certain options could work. Always understand your mistakes. This is vital if you want to see dramatic improvements. If you take the time to understand each mistake you make on practice questions, why you made it, and what you will do to avoid it in the future, you are virtually guaranteed a good score on the test. So mistakes usually fall into one of 4 categories. First category is contact weakness. Next category is time pressure. Third one is question comprehension issue. And the last is careless error. After you finish a practice test, catalog all of the questions you answer incorrectly so you can work on detecting error patterns. Did you constantly answer a particular type of math question wrong? Contact weakness. Did you keep missing the words except or least? Careless error it is in questions. Did you constantly miss questions at the end of sections? It can be time pressure, yeah? So understand the type of mistakes you do. Have enough time for preparation, at least half a year, not less. As for getting a competent score, you have to do a lot of work, which includes filling content gaps, practicing under time pressure, getting familiar with every specific of the exam. Don't skip answers. Guess. In older version of the SAT, you were penalized for guessing, but not anymore. So use this opportunity. If you don't have any idea what the answer is, then guess. You aren't penalized for guessing. However, before guessing, always try and eliminate at least one incorrect answer choice. Take as many full-length practice tests as possible with trying to mimic the actual test conditions. It is a huge mistake of a lot of students to practice sections apart only, and not to practice the full-length test under time pressure. It is the greatest idea to create all of the conditions as many times as you can before test. Start your fake test at 8 a.m. as the real test starts. And hold to schedule of an actual test. Follow the rules even concerning using bathroom and snacks. Print out of the test in the form of the real one. It is quite well-known fact that students who do not take full practice tests at least a few times before the real test usually drop by up to 100 points on the exam. Don't Don't get into a trap with guessing that there cannot be a string of 4 plus of the same letter answer in a row. This logic confuses many students, as they believe it is impossible. The distribution questions by answer letter is completely random, so you can have the row of 5 or 7 B's answers, and breaking up the row by changing one of the letters into optional letter is a bad idea. So follow your instinct, but not in the case you don't know the answer, because it is possible that subconsciously a person chooses the answer according to the previously mentioned logics. If both answers are grammatically correct, pick the more concise one. It is my next advice for you. One of the skills SAT writing test is conciseness, or the use of as few words as necessary to convey meaning clearly. Being able to answer concision questions correctly requires knowing not just what the grammatically correct choice is, but which is the best grammatically correct choice. If the level allows you, my advice is always practice harder tasks, harder readings, harder listenings, harder math tasks. Do everything harder than it is going to be on test day, because when you can handle hard things home, you can handle easier ones on next. To make you feel better on test day, adjust your regime to match the test at least 2 weeks before. It means you need to wake up as you will on test day. Now we're going to talk about reading section, which is one of the most difficult for a lot of students. The first advice for myself, based on my personal experience, is read the passage introductions. The SAT includes a 1 or 2 sentence introduction before each passage in italics. These introductions often tell you who wrote the passage, when it was written, and where the passage comes from. This contextual information can help you make sense of the passage and more easily answer author-based questions. It is also the biggest key in deciding which passage to attempt first. Look for direct evidence for your answers. For the most part that concerns reading, you need to find direct reference to the variant you have chosen in the text. If you're struggling with literature passages, use other equal difficulty sources to practice. For example, SAT literature and AP literature preparational books could be extremely helpful for you. The next section we're going to discuss is math. Focus on filling content gaps first. If you have problems with basic math skills, it doesn't matter how many practice SAT questions you do. You're going to have to fix these knowledge gaps before you can improve your SAT math score. If you notice you're missing practice SAT math questions because you're uncomfortable in certain content area, work on your content weaknesses before you do anything else. This is the fastest way to improve your score dramatically. You can go from here to fix other types of mistakes that are more surface level, such as reading questions wrong or basic carelessness. Resolve questions you get wrong before looking at answer explanations. When you get the idea by yourself, it's always more fruitful. At the end, make sure you understand the way the SAT creators want you to think and only then go to explanations. The next method of handling with math section is plug and talk. This is a tried and true test-taking method, and because it works, I mention it here. This type of strategy should be used only when you think it is the fastest way to solve a problem, or when you have no other ideas how to solve the problem. So to solve it, put X and calculate. So do the math questions out further. On the math non-calculator section, you should do the questions in the following order: 1 to 12, 16 to 18, 13 to 15, 19 to 20. On the math calculator section, you should do the questions in the following order: 1 to 24, 31 to 65, 25 to 30, 35 to 38. The idea of such a method is to tackle with the easiest and less time-consuming questions first and tackle them absolutely right before tackling with the hardest ones to have enough time for medium and hard difficulty questions. Next advice for math section is working on fractions. You should be able to rewrite fractions and find least common denominators and know how to divide fractions and do any other manipulations with them. If you want to get a top score, familiarize yourself with circles, particularly the equation of a circle. You have to know how to rewrite the equation into use logics in writing section. Half of the questions are based on it. The truth is that a lot of SAT questions are constructed in the way you just need to look carefully at the question and let you to see answer. Sometimes answer is hidden in tense used, sometimes in style of sentence. Maintain same style of writing. Maintain same style of a sentence. Take in consideration the fact that in academic text there is nothing more important than the same style of sentences. If the sentence is started with gerund after the main verb on the first clause, it should contain the same structure in the second clause. For instance, she likes drawing for a few reasons. In Constance, she doesn't like dancing, so not to dance, dancing. It's important to maintain the same style. So that's it from my side. In the case you like my videos, subscribe to my channel, click thumbs up and enjoy my next videos. See you.